670 WSTX.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John. Good morning, Caribbean, South America, down under. Head on up to the U.S., all the way up to Canada. And then if that ain't far enough for you, let's go all the way up to Alaska. All right, Miss Nicole Whiskey up there, holding down the coal for me. Because I ain't going to get there. I don't think so. Anyhow, it's fantastic. And then we go across the Atlantic or the Pacific. You know, we sail the east to supposedly get to the west. I ain't going to say find the west because the west was always there. Hey. We have all of these things depending on who writing the history, who discovering what was already there and everything else. But anyhow, all right, we got a caller here. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Canton. A blessed 2:11 to you.
All right, all right.
You know, one thing I was reading the paper yesterday, and one thing that always bothered me is the government would go into a contract with a company, settle for the price, and then halfway you hear that the company want more money. Now, the dismantling of that DeChabert project, you know, has been going on for. I myself don't see why they dismantle the whole thing, because I'm sure that some of those buildings could have been repaired. Anyhow, the contractor now is saying that he need a lot more money to continue the job. Now they're throwing in something about asbestos, and that is only to frighten people, because when we hear the word asbestos, we think about cancer. How is it now is the time that they're going to throw in this asbestos thing, and they knocked down so many buildings before, and we didn't hear anything about asbestos?
Well, you know, it have a lot to say when you say asbestos, because if there's asbestos there, that means that the whole demolition process was throwing this stuff up into the air, and it drifting all through WAPA and the housing communities. And we're talking about, yeah, they bid on the contract. They were supposed to do an assessment of the place, and maybe they've opened up themselves to liability issues now. You know, so they want one thing, and the government go give them, that's fine. But all I go say to the people in the community, just make sure if you're seeing certain symptoms or whatever, that you keep in mind that go to your doctor and document it and do what you got to do too. Because the bottom line is it's about accountability. From the bidding process on up, it's about accountability. We have a culture of cost overruns in this community that it's really the person comes and who could bid the lowest, and they get the job, and then next thing you know, change order, cost review and everything else, and the price going up. And this is something that has come to be like a culture. What you need is not the cheapest. What you need is who is most capable of doing the job and what's the realistic cost of doing the job. You're going to build a house that costs $300,000 for build, and because somebody give you an estimate of $150,000, you're going to run with them?
But to me, I think they're throwing that asbestos thing now, where the project is almost finished, just to say, well, the amount of money that they want now, to find some reason why they should get that money.
Well, let me put it this way. If there's asbestos, we got to do whatever we got to do to contain that asbestos and make sure it don't get out into the community. Okay? So the real question is, what damage has been done asbestos-wise to the community already because of their failure to properly assess the nature of the job? We know how long those houses been there. We have an idea what type of materials that were used, etc. They've been doing this. They have to have some idea. So really now, in this context, what have they exposed their workers to and the community to? That's the question I would have. Whether or not they come up bogus That's for our people to do their testing, because they can't just say asbestos. They have to show evidence of asbestos by the nature of the materials being there. Okay? So the bottom line is, if the government going to just roll over and play dead and say, okay, here, well, then that's on us. Okay? Because it's our government. That's on us. If they're going to do their due diligence and find out what's really going on there, and it turns out that there's asbestos, well, then if we have to pay more to make sure it's properly contained, that's one thing. But there also needs to be an investigation as to why this is coming up now, as to all along, in terms of the impact to our community.
That is true, and to find out if there is asbestos.
Exactly.